What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So for today, subject matter as per the title below, what are the skills you need to generate more income going into 2025? So I've got 4 points for you today to go over. So the first one being become a subject matter expert in a niche. 2, get better at sales, marketing, and branding. Not only your product and service, but also yourself. Adopt relationship based networking and stay nimble and stay adaptable. All right, so let's get into each one of these. First, become a subject matter expert in a niche. Now, it is not enough nowadays just to be a subject matter expert, but you have to pick a subject matter and narrow down into a niche within that subject matter. So, to give you an example, all over YouTube feed, if you're a male, most likely you've seen quite a bit of dating coaches, pickup coaches, channels that are basically selling you one-on-ones or their courses. Now, majority of them more or less speak about the same exact things, women's nature, as well as how to communicate with women, how to ask them out, how to take them on a date, and basically how to deal with different situations. Yet, very, very few of them pick a particular niche when it comes to that subject matter expert. So, for example, let's say you start a women's dating coaching channel, okay, to sell a course or one-on-one coaching, but you choose to niche down for a target market of men above the age of 40 that are business owners and generate over $10 million a year. That's a very specific subject matter expertise that is targeted to a very specific niche. And here's why. One, you chose your subject matter expert, being dating women, and then you niche down to a particular target market and a particular segment, being men above the age of 40 that generate $10 million a year. Now, what does that really mean? It means that your product and service offering addresses these men's needs when it comes to dating women by gaining a very specific understanding of their day-to-day problems, as well as the challenges they face as being high net worth individuals when they date. So that right there is an example of a niche. Rather than just having a generic dating coaching service or product offering, you have designed a specific product and service for this specific market segment, and that is your niche. Okay, and whatever you pursue going into 2025, if you really want to generate high levels of income, set yourself apart and differentiate yourself, you have to niche down as much as possible. Okay, and figuring your niche is gonna be a matter of trial and error, to be very frank. And you have to be open to the idea that it's not only what you know, but there could be certain things that you don't know, and that's where you will find your niche. And this is why trial and error, being open-minded, is very important when figuring this out. Okay. Point 2 was get better at sales, marketing, and branding, not only your product and service, but also yourself. So it's common knowledge, common understanding that you need to be good at marketing your product or services. That entails basically overall selling, marketing, and branding. But little, if ever, is talked about when it comes to considering yourself as a product. Okay? And what is it that you're doing to sell yourself, to market yourself, and what kind of brand you have. All right? We're in a market now globally that is saturated with people with the same exact product and service offerings. So how are you gonna differentiate yourself from these people to get the business? You cannot really compete on the product or service. You've got millions, if not billions, of people doing the same exact thing as you. What it's gonna come down to is your ability to sell yourself, the approach you take to sell yourself, how differentiating it is, okay? What marketing channels you're using, obviously the more the better. And last but not least, which is also extremely important compared to the other two, is your brand. What kind of branding you have as a person, okay? When people think of you, what is it that they think of? And these are very important skills going into 2025. And frankly, it isn't getting easier, it is getting harder and harder. So you need to invest even more time and energy into selling yourself, marketing yourself, and branding yourself as much, if not more, than what you spend on your product and services, time and money wise. Okay? So the third point is adopt relationship-based networking. All right? This one, I absolutely despise. Even when I was in university, I remember taking an entrepreneurship course, which the idea of that even existing is absolute bullshit. But the one thing I took out of this course this semester was the professor told us that it doesn't matter how good you are at what you do. It doesn't matter what your offering is, how unique it is. People buy from people they know. It's really that simple. Okay? Unless you have something extremely unique and not offered by anybody else, people prefer to buy from people they know, even if the product or service offering from the person they know is not as good as the one available from a stranger. Familiarity is your number one asset when it comes to generating business opportunities in your pipeline. Okay? It's just human nature, and there isn't much we can do about it. Like I said, I've heard this over and over over the decades, and it frustrates me because it takes professionalism out of the window and any incentive to really get better at what you do, aside from the fact that you're familiar with a bunch of stakeholders and decision makers, and because you're familiar with them, you're on top of mind when it comes to transacting. So this is extremely important for your bottom line, for your revenue generation, okay, for your increasing your annual rate of return. These are just terms used in sales and marketing, but you need to become extremely familiar with, the people you do business with. And examples of that would include things such as making sure that when you author a white paper, you send it to these stakeholders, making sure that you're sending out emails and having phone calls offering free advice, making sure that you attend networking events where you meet these people face to face and again socialize with them, not necessarily talk business and try to sell them onto your product or service, but just socializing, getting to know them at a personal level, really getting to understand them, understand what their problems are and what their challenges are, and just taking stock of that so you're able down the road to provide them with value. And like I said, this one is my least favorite because to a certain extent there is an element of ass kissing and pretending to take interest in somebody you don't necessarily click with. It is easier if you can determine between 2 to 5 people to bounce your business deals off of. That's actually very popular in the consulting world, where a lot of the partners that operate in big consulting firms will do business with some of their high school friends that are in big companies, and they'll basically have 2 to 5 people and they will bounce business deals off of them, and they do that for the rest of their life. Okay? Forget competition, forget fair market transacting. The money just bounces between these 5 people over and over and over for a lifetime, and they get wealthy that way. Now, is it fair? No. Is it competitive? No. Are people offering their companies and clients the best service or product offering? No. At that point, being familiar with the stakeholder, offering something that's just good enough, knowing that you as a service provider or product provider can be trusted when things go wrong, that you're not going to get out there and throw your stakeholder or client under the bus, is just good enough. And this is counterintuitive to what a lot of people in universities and even early on in their careers are trained upon. How people are trained is that they're trained to operate in this idealistic, perfect world where there's no conflict of interest or personal interest overriding the overall interest of an organization. But that's not how the real world works. In the real world, you deal with people, you're dealing with decision makers, stakeholders, and they are constantly under stress and in precarious positions where one wrong decision and they lose their careers, not just their jobs potentially. And they want to do business with people they trust. They want to do business with people that they're familiar with. They want to do business with people that have a track record. So it's extremely important that you build relationship-based networks to, bounce your business deals off of. And the sooner you start, the better. That's a mistake I did early on, is that I didn't invest into that because I didn't want to be unauthentic or pretend to be something I'm not. But when you understand human nature and the root cause of it and how people operate, it really is indispensable, and you have to develop it. And you don't have to be unauthentic. To a certain extent, you're always going to be ass kissing, especially if you're doing sales. There's always a big element of that. But a better way to look at it is the same way that people operate in hospitality, like hotels or restaurants. Think of yourself as, aside from offering your product or service or expertise, that you're also offering a white glove concierge service. So if you come at it from that way, it's a bit easier to stomach down and deal with, and also try to always keep it as authentic as possible. And to do that, you first need to know what is it that you stand for, what your values and ethics are. So outline these. And if you find yourself ever in a position where you are doing something or saying something that doesn't align with these, then your best bet is to cut that transaction or that relationship. At the end of the day, the whole idea of making money is to go ahead and enjoy life. And if your money making is stressing you or making you miserable, what's the point? Okay. So with that said, do understand the importance and power of network-based relationships. Okay. Or relationship-based networking, my bad. Last but not least is stay nimble and stay adaptable. Now, with how things are constantly changing, there's always some sort of new gimmick or some new trend, from data analytics to machine learning to generative AI. The truth of the matter is, most of these things are just hyped and marketing, in my honest opinion. And I think now we are coming to the point where a lot of businesses and people are realizing that the whole AI craze thing is not what it was thought to be. We're not going to be there as quickly as everybody assumed we would be. And we're starting to see a bit of backtracking in terms of investment and even just short-term requirements for these skill sets. Generally speaking, the basics are always going to be there, in terms of basically your ability to learn on the job, your ability to customize your approach per different stakeholder, and your ability to deliver a value proposition that exceeds the client's or stakeholder's investment. So these are the basics. But when I say stay adaptable and nimble, meaning that keep an open mind to what's going on out there, especially when it comes to lingo around sales and marketing and branding, because even if you don't necessarily use things like AI, a lot of the clients just because it is hyped in the market, are going to be looking for these terminology when it comes to your communication, because they want to justify the spend within their budgets. And one of the easiest way to do that is always throw the newest hype thing in there as rationale for budget line item inclusion or increase in value. So keep that in mind. And the other thing is you do want to incrementally improve your skill set over the years. Now, frankly, I'll tell you that a lot of the product mainly features around, let's say, analytics, for example, they don't necessarily add a lot of value in terms of efficiency. It's like an extra bells and whistles. But if you know some of the quantitative basics, for example, you don't need a new tool every 2 to 3 years that just comes out on the market. It's very obvious now for those that understand how the tech startup scene works, is that tech bros, generally speaking, don't really create anything new. They take something that exists, they repackage it and push it out to the market under very strong marketing and branding that tries to differentiate it or make it seem like something that it's not, or that is different from an existing offering, but it's not. Okay, and there's different investment and business reasons for that, which I won't get into right now. But anything that comes new rarely is really new or innovative, but still keep an eye out there, even if you don't use it, even if it is not something that adds a lot of value to your workflow. It does come handy using it from a marketing, sales, branding, language standpoint. Okay, so this is it for this upload, you guys. These are the 4 things you need to pay attention to in terms of skills development moving into 2025 to increase your income. Hopefully this has been helpful to some of you out there. If it has been, make sure to give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and turn on the bell notification button so you are aware when I do upload to the channel. Right, I'm gonna wrap it up here. As per usual, very much appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.